to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. Welcome to the June 16th, 2016 Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board meeting. This is our regular meeting, and we have a few items on the agenda, not a huge agenda, but some important things. I'd like to just let everybody know that I spoke to my vice chair and longtime board member Rich Davison is currently in the hospital, and he's doing well. I spoke to him a little while ago. He's got a great sense of humor. He's going to get his rehab, that ankle going and stuff, and hopes to be home in about a week or so. So we send our best wishes out to Rich. Okay. Now if I could just find my agenda, I'll be all set. Well, there's actually one public hearing this evening, but the first one is to be adjourned. That's number 1, River Point Residential and West Park Professional Buildings, Site Plan and Aquatic Resource Permit Hearing and Lot Line Revision Review regarding a proposed development plan amended to include a single 7-story building containing 85 age-restricted dwelling units, 31,534 square feet, medical office, and 13,976 square feet of retail pharmacy or medical service use. 2055 South Road and 83 Old Post Road, zoned OR Office Research District with a senior housing overlay district designation. 7.14 acres. Seeker declaration was adopted on March 20th, 2014. WA Route 9 LLC is the owners. I move that that we adjourn the site plan public hearing to September 17th, 2016.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Application number 2, Dutchess Golf and Country Club amended site plan. Site plan public hearing regarding improvements to add a 3,024 plus or minus square foot ancillary clubhouse building, outdoor wedding function area, new ponds, landscaping, aesthetic lighting, and putting green renovations. 26 to 28 South Road, zoned R-2A, residence, single family, 2 acre, district 140 acres, unlisted action, Dutchess Golf and Country Club owner. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you, Chairman, for again having us again tonight. We were here last month, responded to comments, and my name's Larry Boudreau with the Chase and Companies. With me is Mike McCormick, LMV, the architect for the project, and I also have staff with me, Chris Laporta behind me, if we need to flip through the boards that we have. To give you an update, we met in front of the ZBA last Monday night. We were going for an area variance. That meeting was adjourned to July 11th, of course, because the secret determination here hasn't been made yet. But we wanted to give them a chance to respond, and they had some minor comments, which we addressed there. Tonight, we're been working with the staff on the questions related to seeker, and we made adjustments to the clearing dates from October 1st to March 31st. And also, we've been working with the town engineer regarding the hot spots for fertilizer. And thank you very much, Eric, Neil, and to Joe and Morris for really working with us to get that worked out. And this afternoon, we got a letter from we were copied it, a letter from Joe saying that he was satisfied. We still have some follow-up, which we'll do, but we were able to get through that. So again, thank you for doing that. And one of the questions that came up at the last meeting was the irrigation pond on the northwest side of the project, and there's a pond just north of the site. And the question was whether or not that pond was actually attached to the one on the golf course site, the northeast corner. And I checked stream stats, and it is not attached. So any use of the pond on the golf course site would not affect the pond that's off-site to the north. So I wanted to follow up with that question and any other questions that you might have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to hear from us first or the public hearing?
We can open a public hearing. What the heck?
Okay.
Second?
Moved in second. We open the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Did anyone sign up? Anyone want to speak on this issue? Duchess Golf? Okay, seeing no. Huh?
Tea time?
Tea time? Anyone want to schedule tea time? Tea and crumpets. No, okay. Carol, nobody on that, right,
me.
Carol?
After me.
Okay, thank you. So I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved in second, we close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Eric?
Sure. There was, as Larry mentioned, there were one or two issues regarding stormwater and treatment with regard to best management practices. There was some correspondence this afternoon, which was sent to the board. It's in your packets if you didn't get it by email. I'll let the engineer talk about that. As far as plan review, we had a couple of technical comments, cleanups on the maps, and that was it. If the planning board feels that the engineering issues are addressed, sufficient for SECR, then you have resolutions in front of you to make a SECR determination to grant conditional site plan approval.
Okay, thank you. Go around the board. Peter?
My concern is really with the groundwater. My concern is with the groundwater. Just received this letter from Joe Dennis, and I haven't really been able to absorb it. But in item 2, alternative or additional stormwater pre-treatment practices may be necessary to provide a greater level of treatment. I mean, I'm not familiar with the best practices for golf courses. I don't really fully understand exactly. But we're being asked to vote on a negative declaration, and if somebody could explain, with what facility can that be done in terms of the groundwater treatment? We're using pesticides here that are being introduced into the groundwater. So that's, for myself, that's a significant item, and since I'm not familiar with how golf courses treat groundwater runoff, if somebody could just fill in that blank so we could have some security that if we do vote for a negative declaration, that we're doing so on an informed basis.
And that's a good point, Peter, and I probably should have called on town engineer first, but I'll let Don.
First of all, I think some of the stuff that you got was dated. The stuff that I saw when I got up here was dated June 9th. So there isn't really any correspondence, I don't believe, from today, but there was an email that came from the office, and that email does say that we have worked that issue out. There are a couple of reasons for that. First of all, as the applicant has pointed out, there's only about 10% of the area that goes into these ponds that is managed. Those are managed. So I say they're managed with pesticides, herbicides. As somebody pointed out in the prior meeting on Tuesday, the pre-meeting, the pond is lined. There is a pre-treatment swales and stuff that treat the water before it gets to the pond. The pond's lined, and then after the water is treated and settled, if there's any overflow, it goes underground and is dissipated. So that is an acceptable practice. Our office spoke with the DEC about that. They said that was fine, and once that was decided, basically that means there is no hot spot. So then it's just a matter of treating it the way you would treat any other stormwater, which is the way it's being done.
But it's really not like any other stormwater. I mean, again, I'm trying to educate myself here. Isn't there, when you have a fairly heavy use of pesticides in your normal daily business, does it ever get tested?
No, but the applicators, have to be registered pesticide. They have to follow the best management practice, which was part of the packet for tonight. So, it's not like they're going to just go out there and dump fertilizer and,
But in other words, the DEC monitors this with their overview, these types of
Well,
designs? And-
certainly they put out regulations on how that this should be done. You're asking, I think you're asking if they inspect. I don't believe they do.
Can the applicant add anything to that?
A couple points. We spoke, we reached out to the golf course superintendent. He, as Don is referring to, the best management practices includes a licensed applicator. So, but the other thing are, budget constraints. It's expensive when you're trying to manage this much turf. So it doesn't go out until it's needed to go out, and only the minimum amounts are applied. So for example, as soon as they start seeing a disease come up, then it's applied. It's not applied to prevent the disease. They let it come up. So that's in a best management practice. Again, this area, and Morris asked us really to define the area being treated. So
Could you just point that out? Do you have a pointer?
yes, I can.
You got to take the microphone as you stand up, or use one of these things.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, if you can't hear me, let me know. So this area, this whole area here is the area that we're improving. These two ponds are the same elevation, 170. This upper pond is by the wetting function area, that's at 173. The hot spots, the new green, which is about 6,000 square feet, that's less than the current green, which is about 8,000 square feet. So we're cutting down the application just by reducing the size of the practice putting green. 18 green remains the same. And so the understanding is, all right, when we treat this, where does it go? Right now, that green is being treated, and it goes into swales that are there, and then it goes down into the groundwater. Now, it goes into swales, still swales, and then it hits the pond, all right? And then the pond is lined, so it's not getting into the groundwater. What has to happen is the volume has to be such that it will overtop the weirs, so there is some benefit to that before it goes out the two outlet pipes and into the infiltrators. And even in that, there's technical, Margaret told me before I came here, but I can't remember what it is, but when it gets in here, it's still treated again before it gets into the actual infiltration into the groundwater. So this area here, and there's a limited part on 18 that get into here, and that's about 10% of the whole watershed going in here, which is predominantly parking, and the southern half of the clubhouse area surrounds. So again, it's just a small part of what's contributing to the watershed.
All right, so what you're saying is that what you're doing there in terms of the treatment is in conformance or compliance with this plan set forth by the DEC?
Yes, and it wasn't easy to get there. Joe and Morris, they really drilled us on it, and we had to have several back and forth as recent as this afternoon at 1:30.
Okay.
So.
And you were on board with that?
Yes.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Did you want to add something to that?
Right, a question.
Use the microphone.
Oh, okay. A question related to this. We're talking about the stormwater runoff on this particular area. not the rest of the golf course? Because I was the one who asked about the northwest pond, because I happen to live on that
Okay.
pond, as does Mr. John there across from me. But, so everything will be contained here, no effect
Correct.
on those ponds there?
Correct. Now,
whatever-
your question was, I think it was relating to, all right, how do you fill these ponds? Are you going to be sucking water from the irrigation supply? And that's,
Well, because there's another pond which is on a road off of the Wilbur, and it was unclear if the pond I'm on was really connected to that pond. So as you draw water out of there, you're gonna be sucking water out of
it's
the
not
pond.
connected.
Right, yeah, that much,
Right.
that much I heard. I just wanted to make sure that there was no effect to piggyback on what Peter was asking.
No effect.
On any of those
Correct.
ponds there. Okay.
Thank you. Carl?
Yeah, that sounds satisfactory to me. I think I heard that it's actually going to be an improvement in the treatment over what it is today with the putting green.
Yes, because of the reduction in the size.
But also it was not going into the pond with a liner before, now
Correct.
it is. So I think the plans come along pretty good then. I guess the only thing I might mention to investigate is just along the Route 9 frontage there, maybe a crosswalk marking along the sidewalks on your ingress and egress. Yeah,
Right there?
Right, yep, up in here.
Okay.
I think that's, let's see, that's the extra road.
Yeah.
Wherever it crosses the sidewalk there, maybe just some paint for crosswalk marking.
Yeah, yeah.
Other than that, plan looks good to me. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ed?
I'm good.
Rocco, anything else?
I'm good. I'm fine, thank you.
I'm okay now. That was a very good explanation. I'm glad to see everybody got together and
Yeah.
got that working. But
Very helpful.
okay. I think I've gotten a lot of nice comments from folks that since that fence was taken down, they put up the nice stone wall and all that, and it's like, was a golf course back there? And now people know. So that was a very good thing, and I think it's good for the community. So, let's see, what do we want to do here? I move the planning board as lead agency hereby determines that Dutchess Golf and Country Club amended site plan would not have a significant adverse effect on the environment, and that no environmental impact statement will be required for the reasons set forth in the seeker negative declaration for an unlisted action dated June 16, 2016.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I guess we'll do a conditional approval. I move the planning board grant conditional site plan approval for the Dutchess Golf and Country Club amended site plan, subject to the following: 1 through 9. 10 will be architectural review. I want to make sure we add about the paint and the striping that Carl brought up in the parking lot. Okay?
Just a qualifier on that, I think the sidewalks are inside the DOT right-of-way, and I don't know if they have some particular standard. Again, we're crossing a driveway here. I just want to be careful that we don't require a condition that DOT may object to. I don't know.
We don't create.
Okay.
Right. I mean, it's not a, I mean, we've got it in for driveways up and down 9. I can't think of any of them that are actually striped like that. So I just want to be cautious. So, provided, however you want to word it, I mean, provided the DOT allows it. If they got some objection, then it has to fail as a condition, but we don't want to saddle.
All right, so a paint and stripe
Yeah, I mean,
that as allowed by DOT.
Yeah,
As allowed by DOT. It just seemed to make sense.
Consultation with DOT.
right, yeah.
It just seems to make sense for cars pulling in and out to watch for anybody walking there.
Yeah, no, it's a call out, and obviously, but when they took the fence down, it became a lot easier getting in and out of that thing, the sight line, so. You can see just again, I didn't want to.
I'm sure there's other entrances and exits.
So that would be
as well.
F error.
Yeah.
Okay.
They might
So,
have-
that was it. Any others? Call the question, all those in favor? Do I have-
Aye.
Can I make the motion? I did make the motion. Got a second? Okay. All in favor? Aye? Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. Are you prepared to do architectural?
Yes.
You are, okay. That's a good thing.
So the architecture of the structure is pretty simple. It matches pretty much what's there now today. In fact, we put an existing building elevation here, which is a photo of what's there today. And you can see that the materials, the architecture will match this. In fact, that's where this element came from. The siding matches, the shingles match, the stone match, the trim matches. So the idea is that the main building and this building will tie in together. So it's a very simple sort of solution, but it's elegant. It works with the site itself.
Okay.
Which is the face that's going, most people are going to see from 9?
This is the face, let's see, this is west
That's the west elevation.
and this is east. So they're both mirror images. And the idea is that this element is actually like the end of it, so that it really defines the entry for both the existing building and the new building itself. So as you come into the site proper, you can see it'll flank the building. The building's will flank the entry.
I mean, is this just open archways? You know, these are not windows?
Yes, yeah, it's open.
Just an open kind of a,
Yeah, and there'll be a bar in there, but
Yep.
it'll be back from the edge.
got it.
So the open end is south, so you take advantage of all of those exposures,
Correct, yeah,
all the sun and the light and all that, right?
right, well, the enclosed end is.
Right.
Yeah, correct,
Right.
and that's where they'll have some back rooms. sort of,
mechanicals
yeah,
and-
prep areas and things like that.
No outdoor seating?
There's seating underneath the canopy itself.
But it's not a patio that's like with tables and umbrellas or thing like that.
No, the idea is that it'll be enclosed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea right now, today.
Point on there where the outdoor seating would be,
What, Ed, I'm sorry,
where the outdoor seating would be?
in here?
Okay.
Mike, effectively, it's a very large canopy, right? I mean, it's open on 3 sides.
Yeah, it's an open, it's almost like an open air structure.
Okay,
That's what it
so
is.
it's east and south, right?
Right,
And a little bit on the west too, I think, right?
a little bit on the east for the most part. On the west, no, really.
Oh, so east and south.
You'll see through the building.
Okay.
So, because it's open.
All right.
So you'll see seating through the building.
In other words, there's not gonna be anything facing the parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that it's facing,
Right.
you'll watch the people putt and drive and hopefully not get hit.
Which is south and east.
If I was hitting, I mean,
Southeast, correct.
much higher propensity of hitting someone.
would.
So,
Thanks, Mike.
just saying.
Got it.
Okay, looks good to us. I mean, you've done some nice things there, and it's just getting better and better, I guess. And I guess there's plans for future stuff down the road, right?
Yeah, and this really, it complements the whole complex, so it really starts to gain like some notoriety, and it actually gives some definition of where this because now, you're right, Chairman, you can see it from the road, and people go, they never knew it was there, and now they go, where'd that golf course come from?
I
And
can
it's
tell you,
always
at
been
8:30 this morning, it was mobbed.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
They probably had a tournament. Yeah.
Good golf day.
Good golf day, yeah.
And the bar is what, 1,000 linear feet, something like that?
What's that?
The bar is what, 1,000 linear feet inside?
At least, yeah, so that's like 2,000 people.
1,000 feet? Okay, make a motion, we
I'll
accept
make a
the,
motion to accept architectural.
have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to accept the architecture as presented. Call the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you all, thank you, have
Okay,
a great
good luck.
evening. Thank you.
Thank you very
Expect to get
much.
this thing, when do you expect to get it done?
They're gonna start very quick, as soon as the conditions are met
Yeah.
and sign off, they're ready to start moving.
Yeah,
So,
they still have to get back to the ZBA for the area variance, so.
okay.
Good. Excellent.
Mike, I think.
Good work.
Can we have that? We don't have any color. Can we take that one?
You want that one?
Yeah, please.
Okay, site plan, first one, Adams Fairacre Farm remodel.
Do you want to suspend the rules first?
Not really.
I'll make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
Public comment.
Been moved and seconded, we suspend the rules. Call the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Anyone in the audience wish to comment on any other agenda item? Seeing no one, I make a motion, we resume the rules.
Second.
Call the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
We'll figure out how to get that up.
Okay. Rich said you would. Thank you for calling Rich. Thank you for calling Rich also. Adams Fairacre Farms remodel site plan review for renovations of the existing farm market grocery store, including building additions total of 3,975 square feet for a new receiving area, indoor seating area, garden center entry modification, additional coolers and freezers. 741 and 765 Dutchess Turnpike, Zone BH, Highway Business District, 26.2 acres, Type 2 Action, Adams Fairacre Farm, Inc., owner.
Good evening, Robert Turner with Tinkleman Architects. I'm representing Adams Fairacre Farms for the development of the site.
Okay.
Hello, thank you for having us. Steve Adams, also representing Adams Fairacre Farms.
Okay.
And
They must be related.
just to go over what the extent of the project happens to consist of, they're looking to do 4 additions onto the building itself. All of them are in area, well, I shouldn't say all of them. 3 of them are in areas of current impervious material. 1 of them is not. We have a new receiving area that they're going to be putting at the rear of the building. Then there is a meat cooler that's going to be
Could you
added.
do me one favor? Could you just move that a little bit closer to us? The whole easel?
All the blind people, right?
Yeah. That's good. You got, angle a little bit more toward that side. Okay, thank you.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the new receiving area in the back here. Basically, that will accommodate the compactor room, gets shifted toward the back, and then they bring produce and stuff in through there, and then it gets distributed throughout the store. So that's going to be the main location. The existing loading dock will remain. And that, again, is another main area for all products to come in. They are looking to expand with coolers on the outside of the existing meat area, so that way they have the additional storage. That occurs here. The current door is going to go from this location to the outer face, so that way they still have a way of getting out of the store at this location, since that's an egress corridor. In the front, they are looking to add for the kitchen prep area. In the southeast corner, they're going to be putting coolers and freezers on the outside. And then they're also going to be adding what is called indoor seating. I know they have it at some of the other stores that it basically, after people buy the prepared foods, they pay for them at the registers, and then there is a seating area that is beyond the cashier area. So you can sit down and you can have your meal there.
So that'd be different than the cafe?
Correct. So it's just tables which allow people to sit and eat the food. And then the last,
How many tables are you considering?
I'm trying to remember what the number,
I was just thinking about Adams.
Maybe about 6,
Wappingers,
Sean?
pretty- How many?
Maybe around 6.
Let's see.
I think the
I have
floor,
had complaints
Yeah.
from neighbors about the Wappingers one not having enough seats.
Not having enough. If we can sneak more in, we will, but
It looks
the
like
floor plan showed about 24 seats.
yeah, I was going to say, I mean,
24 seats, yeah.
not having the floor plan in front of me, I can't give you that information, but
Yeah.
that occurs here. Then there is a small addition over to the side here that would be for the west entrance. And then the last modification that the Adams would like to make is, it's really an internal modification with an expansion of the second floor. They're looking to take away part of the tropical house and expand into that space with areas that they currently have in the store, so that way they can make room for a new facility that they want to incorporate inside of the store itself. And that occurs in this general area. The work that we're doing does not affect the parking. I know when going through the parking count, we do have excess parking on the site still, even with the additions that are going on, because most of the additions are all occurring where impervious material is. The only area is in here where there currently is grass. We're not really impacting the stormwater, so there was no real change to the stormwater system. In the back, everything's still draining the way it has before, so we are not changing that. Any modifications to the roof, of course, we're accommodating through the existing roof drains that will occur there. In general, that's a good wrap-up scope of what we have. If you have any questions?
Good, thank you. Eric?
Sure. Didn't have too many comments about this, and I think you answered one of our questions anyway. Couple of cleanup items on the plan to show. I think that's pretty, we just, it's all information. I think that can be handled as conditions of approval. We just want to know if there's more lighting, how the second floor seating, how the second floor area worked into the overall. Otherwise, we're recommending a seeker and conditional plan approval. I apologize, it's actually not subject to seeker, it comes in under the threshold. Staff is recommending that the planning board waive public hearing for site plan on this and proceed with a conditional approval.
Okay, thank you. Carl, anything?
Couple of things, I guess. I was curious, the freezers, you're putting a new freezer cooler in the front there, like, how's that gonna be deliveries to those freezers? Not gonna have a truck stopping out in front, right?
Are they internal to the building, or, same, I had the same question, Carl.
Yeah, most of it, I think, would still be handled the same way, which is actually through the rear loading dock area.
And then you move it in.
Yeah, it just happens to be that those coolers are much closer to the departments that'll use them. But as far as deliveries, it's nothing that will change and have delivered to the front or anything.
Correct. There are no doors that are being added to the exterior, so nothing can come through the front.
I knew it looked like there was a side door there, so I didn't know if.
There's an existing
if the truck
side
was
door
gonna
that
pull up.
currently exists, and that's going to be remaining, and that's really just used as an exit door.
Right, so, yeah, so the deliveries are,
Correct.
so that's why I just want to verify that. And for the back, you're adding on the new loading dock there, I assume there's still enough room back there to get the biggest truck in and out?
Correct. We ended up by doing a whole maneuvering process with that to make sure that we were able to still accommodate the trucks, especially for like the compactor trucks coming in to pull those in and out. Correct.
And the new seating area, I mean, that area now in front of the registers has these awnings coming out over. I was curious, is that, when you bring it up to the sidewalk level, you're still gonna have any kind of awnings there? I didn't really see on the plans, or,
There will be awnings, because basically, and you'll see that when I show you the images that were created for the submission, I should say for architectural review, that whole front wall is literally coming forward.
it's okay, so it
And
looks
so
similar
the
to what
awnings
it
come
is.
with it, and we'll be putting new windows in, and so you'll still have those awnings
That's good,
in
that'll
the
help
front
with
of the
rain
building.
protection from anybody
Correct.
walking there. Not sure what you're gonna do with all those pots that are out there.
Inside the building.
A lot.
Where?
We're hoping to sell them. No.
I figured that's why it's on
That's
a,
a sale.
I figured that's why it's on a 25% off sale right now. The only last thing I saw, there was on the lawn there where the freezer's gonna go, there's a bike rack there now. You planning to put that somewhere else?
The bike rack happens to sit just off the edge of where the indoor seating is going to be, so there'll still be a little area that will be able to
Okay,
accommodate
in
that.
between the freezer and the,
It's going to be,
there's a, I mean, now that.
it's going to end up by sitting between the entry door, or the exit door here, and the side of the exterior
Okay.
seating area. There's an area right there, and that's where the bike rack will get moved and
Okay,
relocated.
It's got a spot for it, right? Sounds good.
Thanks, Carl. My question again with those coolers, they won't be visible from the outside of the building, they're inside,
The coolers,
by the food prep area and all that.
those are on the outside of the building, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finishing the exterior to match what's there currently. And so there'll be an exterior wall built on the outside of the cooler that will then have the brick texturing applied to it. So that way, when you look at it, you'll still see white painted brick.
Okay,
And we're extending the roof line from above down over top of that. So it's basically being enclosed inside or an addition that we're building around
okay,
it.
all right,
So you won't be seeing them from the outside.
perfect, thank you. Ed?
Yeah, quite honestly, I'm a little concerned about this indoor, outdoor new eating area. it's a crowded area to begin with. If you go out there on Seniors Day, I mean, it's trying to get two carriages past each other gets very interesting. What you're doing now, you're doing away with just the grass. I get that part. But it's still, and quite honestly, a bike rack, I'd rather see more space someplace else rather than a bike rack, unless you see a tremendous amount of bikes being brought to the Adams to be used. I mean, as part of transportation, but there is no outside access into this little eating area?
The access is from the inside of the
Strictly on the
building.
inside?
Correct.
So no chairs can get on the outside and get in the way and all that?
No chairs, no. Because basically the way it works is that from, once you get done with the registers, there's the aisle that currently goes toward the exit. That exterior wall, or I should say the former exterior wall, will remain intact except for two locations which will be opened up to allow then people to enter into the seating area. So it's going to kind of separate that area from the circulation heading for the exits, which should help some of the
The only thing I'm
congestion.
really worried about is that, I mean, it's a crowded, congested area to begin with. As you come out of those registers, during the holiday seasons, you've got wrapping paper for plants and this, that, and the other thing. I just hope you're able to manage that effectively so that it's not a massive congregation area and trying to mobile through there. That's a little concern that, it's
Okay.
a big concern that I think we ought to look at carefully as you go through this, but,
It's an internal traffic kind of thing, but he's right, because it's not getting any wider once you go through the checkouts. People are gonna be taking their food, maybe go that way.
and if the
eat,
pots are
that way
going
exit.
inside, they've gotta go someplace and things like that, so.
And just to answer, the pot thing hopefully wouldn't be a situation, because if anything, we're looking to relocate it more on the garden side, probably even reducing a little bit of.
The only thing I'm
some
saying
of
is
those-
that you got a footprint that is basically not changing. I mean, yeah, you're gonna do away with grass and you're gonna put a cafeteria kind of thing. You got a terrific business and I commend you for all of that. But it gets tight at times, very tight. So,
Well, that's something that I think, the Adams will take a look at that and make an evaluation if they think that it's something that needs to expand in size, or if they need to increase anything, that's something that we'll have to consider. But right
I
now.
truly mean it about the
Yeah.
seniors. I mean, you have a seniors day, I believe, which is a discount day, and that's great. But the mobility for the seniors, some of them are really handicapped folks, and, you know, it's something you ought to look at very, very carefully. So keep that open,
Okay.
all right? Thank you.
Might even be helpful if you could move the registers back a foot or two toward the inner part of the store, it would create a little more room there. Something to think about.
Into the produce aisle?
Well,
No, I know it becomes a
that's
problem.
easier said than done.
But anyway.
Okay. Can you please talk more about the west entrance improvements? I mean, I can't tell from these photos. Are you putting in ramps? Are you making those bigger entrances easier to access and to exit?
If you're familiar with the current west entrance,
Yes,
the
I
way
am.
it
I
is
go in
right
there
now,
quite
you
a bit.
have the entrance on one side
Right.
and the exit is on the other. What they're looking to do is to build a form that is going to be underneath the current gable element, and that's going to then accommodate the entry door as well as the exit, and they're going to be adding, I'm trying to think of the best way of explaining how they're looking at doing
I
it.
think in this picture, the,
Cart storage.
on the left side, the exit and the entrance door is one.
Correct.
On the proposed,
So are you doing away with the, with
What
two
they'll end
sets
up by
of doors?
having is, right now, you exit here, you
Right.
enter here.
Right.
They're changing the interior with how they're locating the cash registers.
Okay.
So that way it makes it more efficient for the entry door to be located still in the same area going straight through into where the current entrance is. But then they're gonna direct and add it over to the side and exit door, and so then you'll be exiting out the opposite side of this addition that they're creating, so.
Well, that's what you're doing now, aren't you?
Well, no, you're exiting out way over here, rather than kind of more toward the center of the gable itself.
They're separated now.
Okay, so you're saying that you're moving the exit door in closer to where the register is?
This might make it a little
Yeah.
bit easier. This is the entry door, that we're adding. This happens to be the west elevation. This is the entry door. You'll be going in here, and then this is your exit door over here. Currently, the exit is over at this location.
Okay, because you have to go, all right, I got it now.
Correct. And so this form is all being built underneath that large gable form.
It would have helped if we had those
So-
drawings.
And then the cart storage is on the right there.
Correct. Cart storage is going to be then over on this side.
So you're moving the cart storage also?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, that makes more sense now to me, because, I use that entrance quite a bit, and what I was thinking is, what's really different, you're just moving those doors closer.
We had hoped that the Photoshop drawings would explain what we were doing better, and I know as a recommendation that came from Eric, it would probably be good to do a black and white elevation, and so these were prepared. I have documents here that I can provide to you guys. I have copies, so that way we're going to be leaving them with you.
The better we have it
Carts are still-
before we get to this point, though.
Correct.
So, the more pictures you can give the board, the better off we are.
Correct.
The major benefit for that is, hopefully to improve the climate inside, because right now with only one door, it gets very gusty, or very hot, because there's no airlock there. So by adding this little bit of vestibule, it will hopefully stop some of that temperature that kind of runs in and out of the building.
Now, the carts on the proposed west entrance are still in the same spot, even though I think you mentioned that they
Well,
were
currently,
being moved.
the carts are located in the center,
Right.
kind of centered on it. Now they're going to be shifted over to the south side of that
To the right.
entry form.
And what about all the material that's there as well?
Gonna
I
have
can't
to
tell
go
from
away.
this photo.
I mean, you've got,
Yeah.
moss and so on and so forth. Usually sits there, right?
It's going to go away.
Where
In
is that
some
going?
ways, we're hoping it even cleans it up, because it'll sort of force us to not treat it the way we do now a little bit. So the thought is it should clean that side up by quite a bit by not putting a lot of these materials.
It's an awful lot of
Well,
material.
a lot of it is second location, it's sort of for the impulse. So most of that we do still have, it's either in the aisles of the garden center, or it's out in the loading areas, which is kind of above the nursery. So it's not material, I don't want to swear to that, that there's nothing there that's in another spot, but most of it, that's what it's.
Reminds me of all the little kiosk things that they put up in the middle of grocery stores.
Oh, yeah. We complain about that too.
Mile and a half.
Yeah. Okay, any other,
Thank you.
Don, anything?
No, Carl picked up on the one concern we had about the trash compactors. That
Okay. I move the planning board waive the site plan public hearing for this project in accordance with code section 210-151D. Have a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded, call a question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I move the planning board determine that the Adams Fairacre Farms remodel site plan is a type 2 action and is not subject to seeker review pursuant to 6 NYCRR Part 617.5 sub C sub 7 of the seeker regulations.
Second.
Moved and seconded, call the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Move the planning board grant conditional site plan approval for the Adams Fairacre Farm remodels. Site plan subject to the following 1 through 5. Architectural review next.
Second.
Moved and seconded, call the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Do you have the architecture?
Yes.
I know the materials are pretty much the same what's existing.
These are 24 by 36 inch.
Is there any plan to put the bakery inside at some point? I know that
Yes, there is.
there is.
Yeah, during this process. Should,
So the pastry garden's gonna go away?
yeah. Yeah, at least that location. I mean, I think they're still going to keep the one, down the Marshall's Plaza, but.
Okay, oh, so they lease that, that's not owned by Adams?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. So what's gonna go there?
Good question. Don't know yet.
Senior
Yeah.
housing?
Maybe,
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
No, that was good. Touche.
Only on Senior's Day.
Maybe a parking garage, there's always a lack of parking.
Yeah,
in that
well,
area.
we do consider it as possible someday, parking, try to improve that, but
Yeah, that
right now,
might,
nothing.
actually, that'd be a good thing.
Yeah.
We don't want a gas station or a bank or anything like that. so. Okay.
Oh, looky there, there's an elevation.
Got some pots? Is pot legal in New York? Look at all this pot. I know.
This kind of helps explain a little bit about what we're doing in regards to the expansion on the south side of the building. This is currently what you see now.
Yeah.
You have the tropical house. This is the main south entry area, ATM, and of course, all the beautiful pots that you have in front of the building. What they're looking to do,
Well, we've already approved what you're gonna do, we just need to see
Correct.
what it's gonna look like. Ooh,
the intent is to just take that roof line that currently exists over here, and that's going to be pulled all the way across. We're taking out about 3 bays of the existing tropical house. That will allow them to expand the departments that they want to move into the lower area. They're working on figuring out what's going to be happening in here. They have several ideas. They've narrowed it down, but they will be moving departments in on the first floor. Then that will allow them to get about 590 square feet up on the second floor to ease right now, it's very tight up on the second floor.
what's up there?
That's all offices. What they'd like to do is be able to expand some of their offices, also provide probably another meeting room. So that's going to all sit underneath the existing, or this roof line that's going to be created. But as I said, we're just going to pull that form all the way across. It keeps it pretty clean and fairly simple.
They plan on re-roofing the whole thing once they're, as part of this, so it matches?
I would like to see something done, if they can blend it and make it look good, and so that way you can't tell the difference.
It's a big
Because
roof.
it is a big roof and you're going to see
And
it.
it's pretty visible, so I'd like to see it.
And as an example, hopefully, when we just did a Kingston remodel, right away, we weren't sure, so, we had just put an addition on, and when they finished it, we went and looked up and said, oh, boy, we got it. And so we did, we redid it, because it just didn't matter.
Okay, and then on this is the current exterior that we have now with the awnings. And then this area here is a large roof area that currently exists. There's a lower roof area over in the backside here. So the intent is to pull that area forward, so it's going to be exactly the same elevation. It's just going to be closer to the road. It's going to be right up to the edge of the sidewalk. So that gives you an image of what those are going to be looking like.
That wasn't senior days, not too many cars.
Then I can quickly just kind of go over this just again reflects what we were talking about over here. You can see the expansion of the roof going this way. The eat-in area here, and then this is where the coolers and the freezers for the prep are going to be going. This is a larger image of that, just so that you can see it, plus I'm identifying what the materials are. Everything's going to be matching. It's going to be the white brick. It's going to be the same, it's a dark gray shingle. Trim will be the same. Of course, the awnings will probably be reused, relocated and reused. We went over this briefly, showing the west entrance and how they're going to be reconfiguring it. In the back area, this is the meat cooler area. What they're going to be doing is they'll be creating a block area around where the entrance door is that they're pulling out or extending out. This is the coolers here. There'll be a shed roof over top of them, so that way it protects the tops. This is the end elevation of the new receiving area. These are the openings for the compactors, and then this, of course, is the door that we're moving forward. So this is going to be your main produce door. Most of the deliveries will come through this door or will come through the loading docks. This is going to be strictly an egress door. There won't be any hardware on the outside because there's no need to. They want to be able to funnel all products in through the very center area here. So
The west entrance doors, are they going to open in now?
These doors here, they'll be opening in, and of course, the exit door will be opening out.
Okay.
Yeah, good point.
And one time it was the opposite.
Yeah.
The entrance.
Okay, any questions? Anything further?
Last question, ballards all the way across the front of the store? I can't remember. I remember seeing new ballards out there where they're freshly painted. But at any rate, are you going to run the ballards all the way across the front?
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely relook at it. I mean, we did, you're right, we added, I can't tell you exactly, it might be like 16, even last fall, I think we did it, but yeah, we just, because of the parking forward. So we'll definitely look at it and
Again, you're getting narrower.
yeah, I mean, that's the only problem is like the one spot you mentioned, the sidewalks we still looked at, they're 7 feet. With this, I think it goes to 6. So, we're hoping that's still, we will relook, but, we did certainly take it in consideration that it's still a busy, spot. A cart's, I don't want to get too technical, 22 inches, but, realistically, people aren't that tight, so. But yeah, I guess just.
Good.
Okay. Looks good to me. I move that we accept what was presented and do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second, we accept the architecture as presented and call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay.
Thank you very
much. Go forth and expand. Thank you. Okay, number 2, Children's Home Site Plan, architectural review for an approved site plan regarding a 2-story addition to the main building for kitchen, dining, office, and support spaces, and a work site for parking and a new building entry ramp, 36 Children's Way, zoned R20, resident, single family, 20,000 square feet, district 24.4 acres. Negative deck was adopted on May 19th, 2016. Children's home owner.
Eric Nyler with Tinkelman Architecture. So just go through the materials. All righty.
That's it. Show us what it's going to look like and what, how it's going to blend in with what's there and
Well, maybe let me start with just a brief review. Existing building, these photos are actually just a tad washed out, but the existing building is a light stucco, which this is a pretty good approximation of it. This is actually a sample I pulled today, but it's just to give you a sense of the contrast and the compatibility of the new. So existing building, stucco finish everywhere. There's a water table of some kind of synthetic stone was put on maybe 10 years ago. And they have metal windows, which are a dark bronze color. And this roof, which is not quite as light as it looks here, but is a sort of tan shingle, asphalt shingle roof. Our project puts a substantial addition on the east wing of the building. The tinted part, the salmon color here is the addition, 2-story addition. Roof shapes tie in. Massing of the addition is very similar to that of the existing building, that being the T-shape piece there. So this elevation is looking facing west. So you see the existing building with this end of it sticking out, protruding out this way. And the length of the addition butts up to that volume. Now you can never match something exactly, so the idea was basically to make it compatible. But also, it is something new. It's sort of a way of announcing that something new is going on there, even though it certainly fits in and it's meant to enhance what is already there. So we've applied a compatible stucco color onto the addition. all the windows, all the new windows on the addition will be the same style and pattern as the existing windows and in a matching color. We've also got these little areas. This piece of the addition is the end of a long hallway that ties together all the dining spaces and also provides a sort of pedestrian access from this end of the campus for kids when they come into the building. None of them live here. They live in the dormitories, but they are in this building on a daily basis for different things that they do, meeting with their counselors, et cetera. So this little area here is done in a Hardy Reveal panel system, and that's in the same color as the windows. And also looking this way, which is facing due south, this is the end of the addition in this sort of taupey color, looking at the space between the addition that's coming this way and the existing end of the building. Now, the addition has actually been masked very carefully so that the width of this end of the building is the same as the existing end of the building, and we pulled this out to match up with it in plan. One of the little feature elements is that this sort of mounted tower shape, which sits over the doorway from a break area, is also going to be rendered in that Hardy panel system. So we've kind of kept it very simple. It's a simple building, and it kind of warrants a sort of direct approach. But we wanted to highlight a couple little areas, make them sort of pop out, and that's pretty much the architectural approach. Again, here's the stove sample, and we've identified it by product, but we may end up changing the product to get the best color match. In which case, hopefully, I could swap out the brand, but the idea is that color match. This is a applied color, or actually an integral color that we'll be putting into the parging of the foundation wall that we're going to do on the base. We're not actually replicating the synthetic stone. They're not crazy about the look of it, and we're trying to keep the cost down, but this will be an appropriate looking material for the base of the project. And then we'll have, this is indicative of the color of the panels, windows and other panels. Now there's, one of the other things we did was we're putting a new entry ramp. They're actually restoring the function of the main entry of the building. So we're putting a new handicap accessible ramp in a set of steps. And
The battery go?
spared the rest of my wrap. But also the railing system on the ramp and the stairs and two other access points. See this set of steps coming off the north side of the building and this entry area here. They'll all be detailed the same way. So we're bringing a sort of metal panel and cable rail system in, which is a little bit sort of touch of contemporariness. And all that metal will be powder coated the same color as the windows. So we're kind of keeping it down to a very simple, kind of minimalist scheme that makes it look new, makes the new part jump out, but fit in with what's there now.
What's the roof?
Well, we're kind of struggling with that. The roof is going to be fell off the board. Yeah, here it is. It'll be new shingles, and this is what I think we want to do, but there's still debate about matching the roof that is there, which, as you can see from the photos, is lighter than this.
Right, that's because that looked dark in the thing, in the picture, so versus the lighter one now.
Right. Yeah, that's a sort of small.
Now, if you're trying to re-roof the whole thing or match, like I was talking about with Adams, or just.
Yeah, we're only going to be putting roof on what's new. There's a pretty good one of the reasons for massing the building up this way. Well, actually, this is actually the existing roof here, so therein lies the. If you start re-roofing this, do you do down the entire other side, which doesn't technically need to be changed, or do we make this new and let that stand out? So it's to be honest, I'm still not sure which way we're going to go with that.
I know you got it. I mean, given the price, cost is obviously a factor. I would think something like this.
Yeah.
So I would just let you work with staff. Anybody have a problem with that? To make sure we got that we're satisfied with, whatever you come up with.
Thank you. I mean, our fears, we don't want to make it look patchy,
Right.
but you want it to look unified.
Yeah, we don't want it to look patchy either, but on the other hand,
Right.
you gotta balance what
I
you gotta.
guess the most important question is Walt Joseph and the committee, building committee, in favor of the differences in color and so on and so forth? Did it come from
yes.
there, or was it your suggestions?
Well, interesting, when we started out thinking that we would make it match, everything would be matching, because the volumes are, sorry, let me get the volumes are so similar, like it looks a little blockier than this, but again, like, this is the same width as that, and this bump out, there's a bump out on this side, which is exactly the same width as this, so we're kind of going to some pains to make the massing reflective of what's there. And that was initially why we thought, well, let's just make it the same color also. But then we started thinking the reality of really truly matching something that, I don't even know how old the stucco on the building is. So we thought, let's
It's older than me.
let's make it compatible. And maybe if they refinish this, they'll paint it all out at that point.
I move we accept
But my
that
question
judge presented.
is the committee and
They're in favor of this scheme. I met with Walt today, actually, to review the finishes with him.
Okay.
He couldn't
I
attend
just want to
tonight.
make sure you're alive next week when it's approved. I understand it's quite a committee.
I think the real point will be when I finish the construction drawings and then we get the budget finalized.
Fine.
Got it. Thank you. I move that we accept it as presented, and they'll keep us informed as to how the roof goes, and
Second.
work with staff. Got a second. Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay,
Great, thank you very much.
you're welcome. Central Hudson Phoenix Street parking lot. Plan review for proposed. There was going to be a discussion, and now, well, still a discussion, because I don't think we can make any determination this evening. Eric, do you think?
I think if the board is inclined, I have an alternate recommendation developed this afternoon based on the new information that was submitted. Larry's going to talk about that new information. I've had some conversations, so I have an alternate resolution available for the board.
Okay, otherwise, we could hold a special meeting on the 30th if necessary, depending upon what we decide tonight.
It's not trucks, it's cars. I'm told this for cars, not trucks.
Real trend with projects here, you have some beautiful stuff happening in town.
All right, anyway, I got to read this. Site plan review for proposed construction of additional parking area for 38 spaces and connecting driveways to the existing Central Hudson gas and electric site. Phoenix Street zoned R for a resident single-family 4 acres district, and WD1 waterfront district 1, 2.53 acres plus or minus. Portion of this is in the city of Poughkeepsie, but a very small piece. Non-listed action, Central Hudson Gas and Electric owner. Okay.
Buildings to show you, but we do have a much-needed parking lot. Central Hudson is in need of additional parking facilities at their main campus in Poughkeepsie, just off of Academy and Route 9. If you're familiar with the site, which you probably all are, the proposed parking area is on the main road coming into the site. The new security gates located just inside the access to the property, and it's located just as you get to the main building on the left side. And as the chairman mentioned, the majority of this property is actually in the city of Poughkeepsie, and there's a small, well, there's a parcel only located on the south side of the entrance drive that's situated within the town, and it just so happens that that's really the majority of where this project is located.
In the town?
In the town.
Right.
Absolutely in the
Okay.
town. That being this parcel here, a larger view of it. There is an existing level area. We're doing very minor grade modification We're accessing an existing road that comes into the site. There's going to be two additional light poles proposed. The lighting will be contained within the site, well within the site. It's really just for safety and security of people using it. It's going to be an employee parking area.
So it's no trucks? No trucks?
It's not designed for trucks, it's not planned for trucks.
Originally, you were told it was going to be swing space for trucks during emergencies, and they have to mobilize lots of people from different areas.
Well, I think the idea is that they're going to mobilize people, but it's going to be workers that have to come in and report, and they're going to be parking employee cars there, so. But it's going to be, it really is much needed parking, and the situation really gets exacerbated in the wintertime when snow starts to take up spaces too, so it is something that they're looking to try to accomplish very quickly. We are planning to, not much stormwater management is needed, but we're actually planning to accomplish what is needed with stormwater management with some porous pavement. We've done soil testing. We've seen the town engineer's comments. They are readily addressable without modification. And I think that's pretty much it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don, anything?
We just had the drainage comments, and that's it.
Okay. Eric?
Sure. There's a lot of information that's come in the last 24 to 48 hours. I've tried to forward it to the board, but I know there's a lot that's come in. So I just thought I'll take a minute just to run through it. Initially, where the packages you received last week, we had some concerns regarding items raised that were reported in the applicant's environmental assessment form. And since then, if the board agrees, I think we have information to address those items. One had to do with the habitat. It identified, the EIF indicated that there were potentially significant species somewhere in the vicinity. That was all the information we had. You have Mike Nowicki's Ecological Solutions report, which addressed the 4 plants reported in the 1800s, which is the cause for those things to be listed on the DEC database. That's what was reported in the EAF. And his report indicates that that site does not contain those species. I did have a follow-up because a lot of the sites in the vicinity, there have been reports on just about every project in the vicinity having to do with the bats as a common thing you've been seeing on all of our other projects. His report that was received yesterday afternoon, I think, and forwarded to you, did indicate that he did address the question about the bats, even though it was not on the DEC database. And he's stating that the trees that exist on the site to be removed are not appropriate for bat habitat. In his opinion, he did not think that there would be an impact to bats. And you have the report for your review in there. With regard, another item in the EAF indicated that it was located in an archaeologically sensitive area. Typically, the procedure is to have a consultant review it. The applicant has provided you with historical photographs and information indicating that the site, when it was acquired by Scenic Hudson back in 1978, I think it was, they submitted a survey and plan of the site for a proposed building. They don't have any evidence of whether that building was built or not, but it does indicate, some change. The engineer, applicant's engineer, has indicated that the topography of the vicinity of the proposed parking area has changed. If you have any further questions for him about the extent of those changes, that may address, if there's prior disturbance to the ground, then if you feel that's sufficient to address any archaeological concerns, that would address that question. If you need more information, then you should direct him so accordingly. Third item was the hazardous waste remediation sites. The EAF indicated that there were 2 of those located on the site or in the vicinity. Today, we received the information on those sites from the DEC database that Larry submitted. It indicated that one of them is the Hudson River, because of PCBs, and that the other one is the waterfront De Laval site in the city of Poughkeepsie. Both of those are obviously located not on the project site, and in fact, the closest is the Hudson River over 500 feet away, according to parcel access. If you feel that that addresses the concern, that would take care of that item, and if not, you could ask for additional information. Otherwise, on the engineer indicated, they need some additional information on drainage. Unless Don disagrees, I don't think that raises seeker concerns. Site plan review comments, we had almost none. A couple of items, we received a change to the lighting plant. I have not had a chance to review it. So that's included in our recommended items, which we feel could be handled either as conditions of approval or in a follow-up submittal at the planning board's discretion. So, with all that said, we are recommending that the board, in any case, classify the action as an unlisted action, and that it conduct an uncoordinated review. There are no state agencies. The only other approval for this application is an unidentified approval in the city. Rather than attempt to coordinate between local agencies, we're recommending that the board proceed with an uncoordinated environmental review. Any other agency then would conduct its own environmental review of the same information and be responsible for their seeker determination. We recommend the board do that. And then, in any case, then if the board feels that the seeker information is complete, I've provided you with an alternate resolution to that effect, or for a determination of incompleteness and to defer the application. Included, if you choose to act to approve the application and use that resolution, then the resolution also contains a waterfront consistency determination, which is a procedurally required step. The only issues for waterfront review, I think, were the same as for the environmental review. Again, you have the coastal assessment form and the new environmental information in your packets. I apologize for the long explanation, but there was a lot of information and issues which came in at the last minute.
Okay, thank you. Anything you want to add, Neil? No? We're good. Ed?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, Larry, specifically when I look at a picture like that, what part of that whole green forest are you taking out?
Very little of it.
Okay.
I think if you can actually see the.
Wasn't that the disturbance there on the?
Yeah.
I see it here, I just.
At the disturbance.
You gotta get on the mic. You gotta get up, grab the microphone.
Grab the mic?
Yeah.
I think I've got even better plan to represent.
Okay, so it's like 25% at most?
No, not even, because here's your tree line right here.
Okay.
All right, the only area of the tree line that's being affected is probably 5 to 10 feet over this portion of the
So
site.
it's almost that dirt area up there.
It's all in this level area up in here, the existing dirt area, correct.
And, okay, so it's different than what we heard originally. It's not trucks, it's not emergency and all of that.
Yeah, I was advised, I met yesterday on site with Stephanie Pola of Central Hudson, and she advised me that the purpose for the parking lot is for employee parking, apparently on demand and with all the utility upgrades they have to do according to the PSC. They've got crews coming in to do trenching and line upgrades and all kinds of things, and just the demand for employee and contractor parking is tremendous. They're maxed out on their site parking, and they're looking for a little swing space.
Yeah, these are really laid out as passenger vehicle spaces.
Fine.
That's it.
Good.
Thank you.
No, I'm good. I'm good for now.
Peter?
If you look at I'd like to get the comment from the town engineer. When you look at the elevations here, I mean, even with a magnifying glass, kind of hard to figure it out on the plan that we got. But you had expressed some concerns about drainage and soil conditions. Could you flesh that out just a little bit?
Well, the main concern is there wasn't any drainage report with this application. So we just wanted to get a drainage report. We didn't have any particular concerns except that there was porous pavement, which when you put porous pavement in, you need to have a design. So we anticipate that Larry, as he mentioned, he already did deeps and perks. So we anticipate that we'll get a design with that, and you need room to groundwater, you need room to rock, and I believe you're verifying that there is room for both of those.
That's correct.
Be part of the conditions, Eric?
Yeah, with the, right.
Okay.
So I think those are the biggest issues, is there wasn't a drainage report, so.
Okay. It's just that there's some appear to be some pretty steep slopes there. So if you feel confident that you can come up with a plan to drain that.
Actually, the slopes where we're building are really relatively
They appear,
gentle.
of all the piece, that seems to be the most level section where you put this parking space.
One of the comments that Don's office actually had was the one corner where Ed was mentioning where we're getting into the trees a little bit. We actually tried to minimize the disturbance, and we actually created a one-on-one slope there. Don's office is suggesting that maybe we want to consider making that a little bit more shallow to 2-on-1. We'll talk to their office. That's an option. 1-on-1 may be the way to continue to do, just to limit the amount of disturbance. And I think we can stabilize it, but we'll work that out with his office. And really, the whole bit about the stormwater is, at this point, is really just nuts and bolts. We'll give them, what we know that they need to be able to say that it conforms to regulation.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Larry, you were out there doing the deeps. My understanding from Eric's conversation is that you were hitting a combination of native material as well as fill.
Yeah, we had about 3 feet in a couple of the spots with gray tailings, so it was obviously disturbed.
Right.
So it kind of supported some of the information. The aerial photographs, as they print, they never print that well. If you look at the information online, some of the photographs really, I think, really depict very clearly ground disturbance. There's areas of bare soil, light-colored tan bare soil, which actually looks like erosion.
Right.
So, and what we found out in the field further qualified that, and actually Central Hudson found that old map yesterday, along with some other documents from Wilson Shook and a couple of other names from the past. So.
Oh, it's an oldie but goodie, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Really.
Were there any Bradford pear trees there? For those of you who know, Wilson Shook was a town planner, and he loved Bradford
Yeah,
pears.
he did.
If Wilson's watching, he wore the ugliest ties I've ever seen.
Wilson, if you're watching, your ugly ties hit the news here. Okay, okay, thank you. Let's see.
I'm good for now.
I guess the only question I had, I didn't know how far, if you needed a retaining wall or anything, but it doesn't look like it on the
Yeah, no, we're good.
elevations.
So Don, you'll make sure before the engineering signs off that all this is.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess,
I move that the planning board preliminary classification classify this action as an unlisted action, that no state or federal agencies have been identified, and that the planning board will undertake and coordinate or environmental proposed action in accordance with 6 NYCRR 617.4.5.6 seeker regulations.
been moved and seconded. Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I moved that the planning, are we improving it tonight? What are we doing here?
I think we're good for approval. Anybody have any reasons why we need to defer?
No, I'm good.
I think we're good.
Ed, I don't know which one you're looking at.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
handed out an alternate.
Lost track.
Yeah, depending which way the board wanted to go, I prepared an alternate resolution if you want to proceed.
Was this right?
We gotta wait the public hearing.
Yeah.
This is.
Okay. Fair enough. Public hearing,
Planning board waive this.
Board waive the site plan public hearing for project in accordance with code 210-151D.
Second.
Moved and seconded, and call a question. Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I move the planning board as the involved agency for uncoordinated environmental review. The proposed action is hereby determined that Central Hudson's Phoenix Street parking lot site plan would not have a significant adverse effect on the environment, and that no environmental impact statement will be required for reasons set forth in the seeker negative declaration for an unlisted action dated June 16th of 2016.
Second.
Moved and seconded, call the question. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I move the planning board determine that the proposed Central Hudson Phoenix Street parking lot site plan is consistent with the town of Poughkeepsie's local waterfront revitalization program because it will be conducted in a manner consistent with such programs and grant conditional site plan approval. The application is subject to the following. 1 through 3, right?
Second.
Anybody, was there an addition though about drainage or?
No, the lighting review is in my comments in the planning department review. Don's,
Yeah, it's embedded in.
it's embedded in the
resolution.
staff recommendations.
Yeah. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, call the question. Those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
All set, thank you.
We're all set. You got some
Thank you
conditions to
very
meet,
much.
but hopefully you can get this done in time for, I don't want to mention the time of year that this is going to be helpful. We'll go with that.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Okay, White's Marina, Hudson River Marina site plan. Planning board to declare lead agency intent and site plan review for 120-foot long steel prefabricated building for boat storage, 15 Point Street, NH Residence, New Hamburg District, and SD1 Waterfront District 1, 15.3 acres. Unlisted action, White's Hudson River Marina, Inc., owner. Is the applicant here? Oh, here's someone. Okay. Good night. Here. Will this result in lower electric rates? Okay.
Yeah, you.
Okay. Okay. No problem.
Good evening. My name is Raymond, I'm from Talcon Engineering. Mr. White couldn't be here, and the engineer couldn't be here. He had a conflict with another planning board meeting today in town of Newburgh. But hopefully I can answer any questions you may have. As you can see, we're just trying to replace a building that I think fell down or collapsed a few years ago. It's similar in size, in the same spot. We're not increasing any impervious area. I confirmed with the owner just like an hour ago. There was some questions about the right-of-way that's shown on the tax map. He provided me in the parking lot literally like at 6 o'clock, the survey that I've been asking for before. So I had that. I have a copy of the deed. He also confirmed that there is no outdoor lighting is going to be done. I tried to reach the fire department today. One of the comments was about the parking for the fire apparatus. I reached out to him. Hopefully I can get that for the next meeting. The only issue that I see, besides providing the floodplain, I believe I'm the IE zone, is the height of the building. I'm not sure how that works. The existing building was 38 feet high. The other building is 38 feet high, but the current code is 35. So
Right.
I'm not sure how we proceed with that. I don't
It
know if
needs,
it's-
it needs a variance.
Okay.
And it's a little unclear to us whether this is a flat roof building or if there's some kind of a peak.
I believe there's a peak. That would be the peak.
Okay.
He hasn't finalized the actual shape of the actual what building he's going to purchase or the color. So
Okay.
we'll be providing elevations as well.
Okay, well, some of that, the information we have is it is 39 feet, so on its face, it needs a variance. One of the questions will be how much of a variance, and obviously, if it's a flat roof building, we're just, measuring it to the, whatever the, the height of the flat roof
Yeah.
is, if it's a peak. It's actually to the average of the eaves according to wherever the grade is. So there might be some variability. It's
Okay.
39, it's with 38 and a half. So that's something that we'll have to get straightened out. And I think you submitted application to the zoning board, has that
No,
gone yet?
we have not.
Okay, all right. So that's, have you received the comments?
Yes.
You have everything, okay, yeah. So you've got the zoning administrator comments as well, and we'll work with you going forward, when you're ready to submit to the zoning board for the height.
Do we refer to the zoning board, or we can just submit?
You get to submit directly to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to declare our intent to be lead agency tonight. So we're not going to take any action, but is there any comments from the board for the applicant to take back and concerns or anybody got anything? No? Okay.
I don't think so. I mean, wasn't the old building about the same height?
Yes.
Yeah, maybe within a foot or so.
What is, like, how much of a variance, what is the code for that?
I don't recall.
The current code, I believe, is 35 feet.
35.
It was between 35 and
Yeah.
39, he says, because he
Right.
said he was thinking about 35 feet or 39, but it was really close, so he says it's got to be at least 39 for the doors. There's rolling the boats in there, so,
Yep.
Right.
Okay, that shouldn't be a big problem.
That's not an issue.
They're not going to stand them in?
no.
All right, so
To lower the mast.
I move the planning board declare its intent to be lead agency to coordinate environmental review of the proposed project as non-listed action. Authorize planning department circulation of a notice of said intent, a copy of the EAF, and a copy of the application to the identified involved agencies.
Second?
To move in second, to call a question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I move the planning board defer action on this application pending establishment of lead agency and direct the applicant to respond to comments of the planning board and those received from town departments and agencies, including but not limited to the following, 1 through 6 as listed here, but in any comments and statements that were made tonight. Moved in second, to call a question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So we got a 30-day circulation period, but
Yes, sir.
you'll have a chance to get all your stuff together for, hopefully, for a July meeting.
Yeah, I'm working on it tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
now
just-
that you have the survey.
Yeah.
How old is that piece of paper?
I hadn't even enrolled it yet. I don't think the server is still with us anymore. Peter Hustis, I think.
Like the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Oh.
It's not papyrus.
Good shape. 1991.
No, that's not.
He also provided me a letter from the town abandoning that road as well.
Yeah.
So when I submit next, I'll
Yeah, I mean,
put that in the
unfortunately,
packet.
the parcel access still shows it as
Yeah.
Steny, but our information is.
On my
that-
first day of the job, I couldn't find the property. I'm like, where's this road?
Just a heads up, when do you anticipate trying to come back? And the reason I ask is because the next submittal deadline is, I think, June 23rd, Carol?
It's 23rd.
27th? I think it's the last week of June for the July 21st planning board meeting.
Okay.
And after that, the planning board does not have a regularly scheduled meeting in August. There may or may not be a special meeting,
The 27th.
June 27th?
I'm gonna aim for that, before
So
that.
June 27th noon.
Okay.
If you can get it
Will
by
this
then.
be,
we-
is this survey too old to be used? I mean, it's just property lines, which haven't changed, and it just says that that
Well,
road has been removed.
Yeah, I mean, you've got, what's interesting is that the site plan that we have shows a portion of what appears to be an updated
Yeah, he
survey.
had somebody else update a map, which I also.
I have it here, but I had to find a sheet.
Yeah, this map was drawn in '02, based upon this survey, which I received today, showing the road removed.
Now, who did this one? Is it attributed?
What company is he with?
Talcott Engineering. Because that shows the corrected road.
It Arnott Associates.
Who is it?
Arnott?
Arnott Associates? The
Or
architects?
or not?
Okay.
Yeah, this is what he provided me when we started the project. And then I look at the tax map, I couldn't find it because of the Point Street being removed.
Yeah.
And that plan references the survey that the 1991 survey?
That's what he told me, but I haven't seen it on there. He didn't give me a final copy because it went to the planning board, but it doesn't have there's a couple of places missing here that aren't filled out, so I don't know if it's a final copy.
That's something we'll have to work out going forward, I guess.
I would think so.
The house down in the corner.
What's, and that appears to be a 2002 survey?
The Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board
It should turn into.
applicant here, 02.
Okay.
Is it signed? Is it approved?
Just says approved by the planning board, 12/18/02.
Is there a signature, chairman's signature?
No.
Okay.
Ah. What's the name of on the site plan? Because I looked and I couldn't find any files on it.
Proposed new addition for White Hudson River Marina Inc.
It's not signed by Wilson Shook, is it?
There is no signature and no meeting date. Says approved by planning board.
Do we have
Well, yeah,
something on file?
based on a survey here,
Would we have
this
anything in our
is-
files?
I don't recall seeing
1993.
that one in our file. That's it.
I couldn't find a file.
Wouldn't be.
Oh, we had a file.
I'm not thinking.
Maybe you can look around.
Some old folders, files? Do we have them on that desk, that way? The dungeon somewhere.
All right, so we need a site plan for the entire place,
For me?
and the applicant.
Yeah, you get it?
So that'd get more work for the.
Let's go down and get it.
Yeah, I drew the whole site plan. I recreated it on this side here and just showing the area in which we're performing the work.
Well, we gotta figure this out.
But when I resubmit, I'll submit the survey and this as well, so you can see both copies.
We're gonna have to do somebody's gonna have to do some forensic research. See who signed that, or was it ever signed off on? Okay. Next. We're good, thank you. Thank you very much. South Road Scare. South Road Square Tilted Kilt Pub and Eatery. Amended architectural review for altered facade improvements for the southern tenant, formerly Bugaboo Creek. 1955 South Road Zone BSC Business Shopping Center, 4.98 acres. Type 2 action, South Road Square Associates LLC owner. Hello.
Good evening, all. My architecture cannot make it today, and one of my colleague who is working on this, he also unfortunately cannot make it. So I'm representing them. I'm not sure.
You represent the owner or the?
I'm part of the owner.
Could you get on the microphone?
You're part owner?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you also I'm sorry, could you also just repeat your name?
Alpesh Patel.
Thank you.
So I'm not sure this is big enough to visible. That's what they
Could you
send me.
can you
I
pass
have
it
a
around?
copy.
What if just pass it around, I guess? Yeah.
We'll pass it around.
Thank you.
And you're part owner of the property or of
Tilted
for the tenant?
Tilted
John
Kill.
has, he said.
Okay.
What'd I do? So he represents the tenant,
Correct.
the Tilted Kill.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do have an owner consent in the application, however.
You're a franchisee, I guess.
Yes.
Who's the applicant?
Franchise, right?
What's the name of the applicant?
Sorry?
The applicant.
I believe it's Tilted, the
South
owner
Road
is
Square
The owner is South Road Square, but the
Right.
applicant is the franchisee, right?
Just ran that across the same.
Well, the applicant is, I don't know. Sure.
The applicant is
Yeah.
Moda for Design,
Design.
which is, I've talked with her on the phone, the architect who drew up the plans, and they were authorized by, there is an owner sent by the underlying property owner as well, which I believe is South Road Associates or LLC, or I can't remember the precise legal name, but we do have that.
Parcel access, it says South Road Square Associates LLC.
Right.
Parcel access.
For design.
Did you see that one?
I have some samples for the exterior.
Have the uniform there? Could be the rug that's left of it. What's left of it, yeah.
Well, we'll get it.
Why don't you tell us about where these are being used? In other words, you got three different colors here, right?
Have some clothes, artificial.
And just,
Yeah.
that's the only picture you got,
I have 2 copies, that's what they sent me.
okay?
Well, let's see, where's all, so maybe, Eric, could you just hold that picture up there if I can see it over there? What's that? He's only got one copy of the thing. Trying to figure out where all the materials go.
I'll hold it up.
Oh,
Thanks, Carol.
there's,
So I got,
The stones are here,
which one?
You got it?
Yeah, which stone goes where?
that's the stone.
This here?
Yes.
On the bottom?
Those are the, here and on the top.
Okay, along the bottom and the top goes up and around the door. Okay.
And then the green, that is all these on the windows.
Yeah, these are the awnings?
Yeah.
All right.
That's the color.
Window
Windows
frame from the
and-
door, yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Is that
And
an
those-
outside material? John, for your order?
This here?
the larger black and white.
Watch the map on the
They don't
mic.
have awnings that are stuff that won't stand up outside.
Sorry.
No, not you.
That was me.
It was Eric.
You want to put this on the easel? That's a larger. Put that up. You can put that up on there.
Sure.
Where's the number?
Okay.
Floor number 2.
All right, here, Eric, you can have this.
An easel girl.
Is the base the only?
The base for this?
You saying she's short?
So that's the base stone.
That's the, that's the only.
I'm not happy. Remember that joke? I'm not happy.
Can you see it?
Sure.
We all have that.
We just see feet. Oh, now we see you, okay. All right, so I think we pretty much got where the materials go, so it looks all right to me. Anybody have any real strong objection? Peter?
Question? What? No, let Eric.
Peter?
I was just gonna say, it looks like the color, the ephes colors are gonna kind of match the colors of the rest of the mall there. It's very similar.
I'm not sure on the other side, but for this location, that's what the architecture
Oh,
is.
wait, do we have the architectural for the rest of the plaza anywhere? Have it with you? You have the samples?
I mean, they're working on that right now.
I know.
I think, I know I asked the architect in Ohio that question, and I believe she said it's going to, they're complementary, similar colors. They're like, there may be a slight shade difference, perhaps, and I'm assuming from.
So what they're putting up in the rest of it is all the earth
Yeah.
tony kind of things?
Right.
Yeah, it's similar. How about we do this?
It's not a sharp contrast.
The board is inclined otherwise to go with this tonight. If there's a clash in colors, we'll verify. We'll bring it back to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Sounds-
Peter?
My question is, you have roof-mounted HVAC?
I'm sorry.
The air conditioning system and the heating system, it is on the roof?
I believe so.
Because we will require that you screen those, and I'm just wondering, where is the screening for the HVAC on your plan?
How high does this parapet come up to?
I can take those questions to my architecture and
Okay.
definitely get back to you.
Is that something that I think that we require, that the parapet will have to be high enough so that the HVAC units cannot be seen?
It's got to be able to hide them sufficiently, right?
Right. Yep, that's.
Are we comfortable with staff making sure those details are taken care of?
May I ask another question regarding lighting?
Yeah, I had a question.
Which one of these are you suggesting that you're gonna use? You don't know?
I'm
Okay.
I don't.
Well, I would make a recommendation that you make sure that it's pointing down, because you do sit up high over there. So one reflection that would be into the parking lot and down that entrance ramp, which is a really tough grade, would not be good.
Let's get him. We need to coordinate the facade.
There's,
He's got to answer the question, so defer.
You know, I'm not real pleased with the, I think I'd like to defer this so we can get.
I agree.
We make sure we coordinate the facades and the colors and what have you.
I'll make a motion to defer.
All right.
second.
Okay, we have the motion to defer. We got a second? Okay.
I want to make sure that the applicant understands that the items that we're really interested in,
Right.
your response.
I guess I had a question.
Let me just call the question first. Call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, so motion carries 5-0. We're going to defer approval of the architecture. It's not you, because you got stuck in this situation, okay? We need to coordinate with the owner and the architects to make sure the colors coordinate properly, or in the same families, what have you, and it all looks right together. I can't just take this and then the other part comes out differently and it looks funny. We don't want to do that. Plus, the screening of the HVAC and all that, the parapet, how high is it, and some of the detail, we need to know that.
I also had a question about making sure there's.
The
Lightning.
And the lighting.
The lighting. Well, those are the goosenecks, but I also was concerned if there's any uplighting.
Yes, of
I've seen
course.
some pictures online where the whole entire wall is bathed.
You know how that
bathed in
road is
green.
going up in there, it's terrible.
Right. So they got to give us a lot more detail
Sure.
on that, okay? In addition to that, we're going to also require the landlord, you want to talk about the landscaping, or you want to?
Yeah, the property owner has been in touch at the middle or end of April about making some changes to the site. They wanted to take out the concrete landscape islands that the parking directly in front of the building, and replace them with landscape, which sounds nice. They were also taking some landscaping out from under the overhang. They're not making any other site changes. There's also, I observed on a site visit, there's some missing landscaping. It's kind of been back and forth. They say, yes, we'll get you some information, then I don't hear from them. But I think their intentions are good to make some changes. I thought it was going to be very quick. It's taking a little while, so I was just saying, instead of having to come back to the board, if the board wanted to just condition that along with this, it might be more, it would.
Right, but since we deferred it, but I still think we need to condition it when they come back as part of the, unless you get a concrete plan to fix the landscaping for the original site plan or whatever changes. And here's an opportunity to upgrade that and make it right. And we don't get that too often, okay? So you're gonna have to, well, we can get you on the July meeting, right? That shouldn't be a problem because it's architecture.
As long as, would you, part of what happened here is that we got an inquiry only a week and a half ago about, do we need to do anything about architecture? And I said, give us some plans, here's what we need, get it to us, overnight it to us, and I can get it on the June agenda. So we tried to accommodate them. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here, and the information wasn't enough.
Okay, we're good. All right, if you have questions, they can call Eric and we can work this out.
Yeah, so just plan to get you can feel free to give me a call. We'll just need to get the information timely by June 27th, you said, Carol? By June 27th noon.
I think overall it looks good. I just wanted to make sure there's a
Yes.
couple of details.
Right. There's no really any big issues. We just gotta make sure it's all gonna look right. I mean, overall, it hits us pretty well.
Sure.
Okay?
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, other business, Friendly Honda. Time extension. for a previously approved site plan for a comprehensive building and site improvements throughout an existing motor vehicle sales and service facility to be expanded from 5 to 6 parcels. 1121 to 1159 Dutchess Turnpike, Zone BH Highway Business, 5.64 acres. Secret negative declaration on file, Dutchess Facilities Management LLC owner. I move that the planning board grant a 2-year time extension for site plan construction completion from July 19th, 2016 forward to July 19th, 2018. Moved and seconded, call the question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 5-0. Town Board's referral of zoning map amendments, recommendation to the Town Board regarding proposed amendments to the zoning map to rezone 2228 South Road from residence, single-family, 2-acre R2A to Highway Business District, BH District, 3 Neptune Road, 5 Neptune Road, 7 Neptune Road, 8 Neptune Road, and 6 Neptune Road from Office Research to Highway Business, BH District, and 2285 to 2291 South Road from Office Research OR to Business Highway BH District. Neil?
Yeah, so we talked about this at the field meeting the other day. A lot of this is sort of the kind of a, what do I call it, cleanup, but almost a kind of a straightening out of some of the zoning on the Neptune Road area. Presently, the frontage on Route 9 is zoned for highway business. We have some properties in the back along Neptune Road that are zoned for office research. And office research was an old carryover zone from the zoning we had in place in the 90s. It's pretty restrictive in terms of what it allows, but some of the uses that we see in the zone, frankly, they aren't allowed, so it's a little odd how they're still there. But in any event, this would eliminate the OR district zones behind the highway business zone, which is on the frontage on Route 9 in Neptune Road, and including the Dodge dealer immediately to the north. For some reason, the zone line runs behind the building, so his inventory lot is in the office research zone, but his showroom is in the highway business. We have no answer, right? It just is. So that's sort of straightening it out. And the sort of the odd parcel is the old Fort family house, which is actually across the street, roughly a little closer to the signal at Southgate Drive. That house is actually on the town's historic registry. And I was approached by Bob Dooley a couple of years ago, who was interested in converting it into a restaurant, which would certainly help preserve the structure. It's kind of to the point where it's going to need some work in the next, fairly soon. So as an encouragement to help him along, the recommendation to the town board and to the planning board is that this also be zoned for highway business, which would then allow him to bring forward a site plan by right before the planning board for that purpose. The property itself is about a little over, not quite 2.5 acres, so it certainly is large enough to accommodate the parking and the other facilities to support the conversion to a restaurant. But again, this is really about encouraging someone, in this case the restaurateur, to come in and make the improvements necessary that would ultimately help preserve the building. So the recommendation is to provide a positive recommendation to the town board.
So moved.
So moved. Second? Give a second?
Second.
Is any discussion? Anybody have anything want to add to that?
I mean, the only thing, I just, if that becomes a restaurant, that's gonna be a tough in and out area where the cars come up to the light there, but.
Actually, the driveway isn't really even at the light.
Right, that's what I mean, just before the.
Right.
It's like.
Right, the driveway that comes, actually, it's the driveway for the house, but it's also the driveway for the maintenance building, which is off and plus it's the speed trap. So that's where the cop sits. So, we'll improve it for that as well. We'll camouflage it.
Okay. Put a billboard up instead so the cop can hide behind.
Yeah, we need some firm to hide behind.
All right, let me call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I have one more item I want to talk about. It has to do with Marist and the Fox Run Apartments up on Fulton. I want to put this, I'm sure it's on the record. There's a concern that it has to do with sidewalks. And now that that building is fully rented and the other building that hasn't been built yet is also fully spoken for. There's some concerns about Marist getting the kids from up there down and they need some sidewalk.
Yeah, the impetus for this and the reason that I mean, it's kind of an unlisted last-minute discussion item only, because you will be getting a formal submittal at a later date. The first building at, Fox Run is what we're calling it now. They will be looking for a certificate of occupancy for that first building next month, and my understanding is they are basically fully leased up. You may recall during discussions about pedestrian access and getting kids down to Marist, Marist really did not want to engage in a dialogue that would bring, how do you connect this to the center of the upper campus area where you've got all the houses, so the kids could come down. So as a result, we required the applicant Page to provide a sidewalk connection coming down Fulton. At the same time, we were having conversations with Marist originally about 51 Fulton, which they had acquired from the county, and they're presently using it for warehouse space. But through that conversation, we basically said Marist will provide the sidewalk connection coming up. And in fact, there's a note on the drawing for the natural science building, which provides that they shall provide this sidewalk connection, and it also includes a time frame within which this has to happen. So Marist is now to that point. They've occupied the Science Center. They understand that they need to provide for safe pedestrian access for the kids. So now we're talking, we had a field meeting the other day, and all the parties were out there talking about how to accomplish this. And of course, we have police, fire, and everybody out there. In this particular case, the drawing for the sidewalk that is in the Marist Natural Science site plan that was approved. There's really no detail. It's sort of a sketch showing this is a sidewalk, and we'll come in with details
It
later.
was going to take away some width of the road, as I recall.
Actually, yeah, they were in parts, but Fulton Street's a little funny because you've got parts of it that are 30 feet, parts
Right,
that
it was
something
a
less.
wide section. That was-
Yeah, so, in some ways, we're introducing sidewalks as well as curbing in place where none exists. But the whole impetus here is to provide for a safe way for the kids, the students who are occupying the house, to get down to basically to Beck Place, where they can then get into the underpass. And that's the real driver here, and Marist understands that. So we've been in touch with John Andrews, who's Marist's engineer. He is working frantically on the design for this. And we've asked him to submit it in time. We'd like to have a special meeting, recommending a special meeting.
At 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on June 30th for the purpose of reviewing this. And the reason, of course, is that they need to get going on this as opposed to putting it on for the July meeting.
What's the status of the portion that Fox Run agreed to build?
They are bringing you down, if you go out to the field, you've got 51 Fulton, there's a driveway immediately opposite that takes you up into the kind of the tennis courts in Marist. They're gonna bring their sidewalk down to there. And then Marist is gonna bring their sidewalk up, and they'll take care of the drop curves.
Doing that already?
No, we just had the pre-construction meeting Tuesday.
Yeah,
Do you know when they plan on starting?
this summer.
Shortly, because
Fox Run hasn't started their piece yet.
No, but they're getting ready to start. It's on their construction plan in the coming weeks.
Having Marist build.
Right.
And, have a sidewalk that goes.
Well, exactly. That's the reason for last Tuesday's meeting was that the Pages are getting ready to construct theirs. Marist, because they want to have their responsibility taken care of by the time students start moving in the end of August. Marist, on its part, doesn't want students walking down a sidewalk and then with nowhere to go when they get to the Marist frontage.
Kind of unusual for Marist.
So Marist is now they're highly motivated to get that sidewalk complete on the same timetable that the Pages are.
Yeah.
What is, do we have anything on the, that brings a timetable into play for Fox Run in terms of, what is that timetable?
It was keyed to, the implementation of the roadway improvements was keyed to one of the phases, or is building CO.
Well, it's the first CO.
Yeah.
And again, this is why they're frantically looking. I mean, here we are in the middle of June, if they're looking for CO in, say in the next month, they've got to get the sidewalk done.
So in other words, we cannot issue a certificate of occupancy prior to their building that sidewalk.
Right, we won't. I'll hold it up. Yeah, that's the whole idea, is that we get these off-site improvements done for that first group. And Marist, for its part, has now, I think that it was sort of on a, I wouldn't say on a back burner, but it was something they understood they needed to do. But in speaking with their engineer, my understanding is that certainly the trustees at Marist understand the need for accelerating the sidewalk to make sure the kids, so they're aware of the problem. It's very much on the forefront. So, and again, we requested this pre-construction meeting. It occurred on Tuesday. All the parties were out there, from Fox Run and from Marist, as well as police, fire, our highway superintendent. So everybody's very much on the same page and understands the critical nature of getting this done. So, in any event, you're going to see the drawings for the special meeting on the 30th and all the details that we previously didn't have.
I mean, what I'd like to see, which eventually is the direct connection to their spine. But right now, there's that little piece of CSX.
Yeah, I wouldn't
that CSX
anticipate that happening anytime soon.
No,
not during your tenure on the planning board, to be honest with you.
So the sidewalk is needed along this road, but if that ever happens, it'll be less used, but that's the case.
So anyway, this is your heads up that you're going to be getting this.
Do we need a motion to set a special meeting?
Oh, yeah, I think we need a motion to set a special meeting.
I move that we set a special meeting for June 30th at 5 PM, unless someone would like to make it earlier.
Not earlier, second.
I know you work. All right, 5 PM here in this conference room. 2016, just in case we know.
Carol, you sent an email, reminder.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So you can arrange that we have the room, Carol. Appreciate that. Yes.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
You don't want to do it at noon and have like lunch catered or anything?
At Marist?
You do noon?
What day of the week? Is that?
Thursday.
Well, I got my grandkids that week for camp, so actually I'd rather do it at noon.
You could do it at any time. It's a special meeting. I'm just.
No, 5 o'clock. Be good. It shouldn't take more than a half hour, an hour. I can't imagine.
It's going to be quick. Yeah, I mean, most of the review will be, on Don, actually on Joe Dennis's part. I don't know if Don or Joe is going to cover that meeting, but.
5 o'clock is good.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? We have a motion to adjourn.
Terminate the meeting.
Terminate the meeting. Got a second? Okay. Meeting, call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is terminated.